Hey Google, bring me my red bag with my makeup.
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that yet.
Hey everybody, so I'm back again with another recap of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. I'm so excited to be back again. I missed you guys and I hope you all enjoyed this week's episode. I just want to give a quick shout out to all my new subscribers. I have a bunch of new people to my channel and I'm just so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much to all my old subscribers who've been rocking with me since last year and watching me every single week. You guys are the best. You guys leave me comments, you guys make me laugh, and I'm just so grateful for this little community that I've built here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being faithful and watching me every week. I love doing this and I hope I can continue. Let's get right into this recap. So we're at episode 2. This week I feel like TLC is kind of dragging out the season a little bit. Not every single episode, every single time can be super explosive. And so I feel like this week's episode, it just drug things out a little bit. I'm still waiting on Pedro and River to fight and it still left it hanging and we still haven't seen that. So let's just get right into it with the first couple we're going to talk about. I want to start right where the episode picked up with Nicole and Azan where it left off. This week, you know, Nicole is trying to talk to Azan to see what happened at the U.S. Embassy or the consulate or wherever he went to do this interview. And he's telling her how it went. He's telling her, you know, that he showed her the pictures of them and all this good stuff. And then at some point his phone starts to break up, the connection's bad. She's FaceTiming him and it goes all blurry. She can't see him. So he picked back up this week and Azan, you know, she calls him back and she gets a connection and he tells her that basically the consulate asked for another document or some other paper that is some type of proof that they're together, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Okay, here's my theory on Azan and Nicole. I just love being right. I'm right a lot. But it never gets old when you call something and then it happens. I told y'all Azan wasn't coming here. I've been saying it since last year. He's not coming here. So here's my theory on the whole Azan interview at the embassy or the consulate thing. I don't think he went. Honestly, y'all can call me crazy. Y'all can say what y'all want. I don't think Azan went on this interview. I just don't think he went. I think he made it up. Here's the reason why I think that he didn't go. Is because his description of what happened was super vague. And I know Azan's not the most articulate guy in the whole world anyway, but at the same time, the things that he said about the interview that was conducted could have been things that I could have said, and I've never done a visa interview in my life. I mean, all he said was they asked me questions, I showed them the pictures of us, and now they need some other paper that says that we're together. What paper? Like, what is it? He never said what the document was. He didn't say, oh, we need a so-and-so document. He didn't say, oh, well, it just didn't make any sense to me. You just need a paper saying you're together? Is it like a letter of recommendation from some other member of her family? He wasn't very specific at all. Honestly, y'all, I don't think that Azan went on to interview. Apparently, what happened was Nicole, I guess she sent in the paper that they were looking for. I really don't even know. They kind of left that hanging and she said she had every paper ready. She didn't say that she sent it. She just said I had everything ready. I wasn't really clear on that, so maybe somebody can tell me. But, you know, she gets an email from the consulate, from the U.S. consulate, and it says, you know, that Azan got denied. I think that possibly could have been a fake email. The first thing that kind of tipped me off to the fact that the email was fake was that it said Dear Nicole, and I don't know if Nicole was reading it and replacing her first name with her like Dear Mr. or Miss whoever because she didn't want people to know her last name. But most of the time, I mean, they literally told her pull up the email and read it out loud. And most of the time on reality shows like this, when people's names don't want to be revealed, like their last name, they'll just beep it out. So if somebody told me to read something, I'm not going to say, if it says Dear Miss, my last name, I'm not going to say, oh, Dear Nicole. I'm going to read it because I'm not thinking like that. So the fact that it said Dear Nicole kind of made me think that's a red flag. I don't know. That just didn't seem very official. It seems like an email or some kind of document from the embassy would be a little more official. Another reason why I thought that it might be fake is the fact that it came in an email. I mean, I would think that it would be an official document, official letter saying that he was denied. I don't know how these things work. I'm not an expert in visas and all this stuff, but just the fact that it was sent in an email made it a little shaky for me. I would rather see some type of official document sent to my mailing address with a letterhead or a watermark of some kind or something like that. The fact that it was in an email to me just seemed weird. It said your fiance's visa has been denied, and I don't know, it's just the language in the email. She didn't read the whole thing. They had it blurred out on her phone, but it looked a lot longer than what she had read. So it may have been official, but y'all, I mean, I really want to know who it was sent from. Was it morocco@gmail.com? It just didn't seem very official to me. It didn't seem real. It seemed super fake, and I think Asin is scamming her because, you know, this is buying him time, because of course he doesn't want to come here and he doesn't want her to move there. So everything that he does, each little step is just buying him a little more time so he can get her to send a little more money so he can scam her a little bit longer. And that's basically what I think is going on here. Her mama Rob Lee was cracking jokes talking about this means send more money, and she's right. That's basically what it means. Now we, you know, there's more time that's going to pass between us seeing each other, so I'm going to need you to keep cutting them checks every month. Asin is scamming her. He does not care for her at all. I don't think he ever cared for her. I think his intention was to scam her. I think he went online looking for girls with low self-esteem who were a little bit slow and dumb enough to send him money every month. And a lot of people are saying they don't think Asin was scamming her in the beginning, that he actually did like her, and then when he found out she was overweight, that's when it kind of all fell apart for him. I don't think so at all. I think Asin always knew what the end game was here, and it was always to get money from girls in America. Nicole said that she's sending Asin money every month because he has a hard time finding a job in Morocco. But just at the tell-all, or last season, she was saying, or both of them were saying, that Nicole doesn't like Asin to work, so he quit his job so that he could talk to her or spend time with her on the phone throughout the day. So which is it, Nicole? Are you sending him money because you made him quit his job, or are you sending him money because it's hard for him to find work in Morocco? These stories don't coincide. Both of them are crazy. He's scamming her and she's too dumb to see it. And I mean, poor May. I mean, May was sitting there, Lord have mercy, poor thing, in that dirty apartment, or whatever that is, that closet meant. It's just a pitiful situation. And you know, God help them. I mean, I think that's all I have to say about Nicole and Asin. But I was right. Mark my words. Nicole's not going to Morocco. I don't care what the preview showed of her trying on a dress. She ain't going over there. She's not going to make it. Every time we hear about these plans that Nicole has, it's always Nicole saying she's going to do something. We never hear Asin confirming, yes, she's coming here so we can get married. It's always Nicole saying what her plans are. Nicole's not going over there. She's not going to marry Asin. Asin's not coming over here. I don't have nothing else to say. Next couple is Molly and Louise, and I mean, Molly and Louise, I'm kind of getting tired of their storyline. I mean, they're still doing this whole my kids don't like me. I mean, it's one of those things where Molly needs to just get her life together. She needs to get it in gear, okay? Now, it starts off this episode with Louise complaining that, you know, Olivia's acting out and she's being disrespectful in the house because she doesn't like Louise's presence there. And she's saying that, you know, she shouldn't be the only one that has to do chores. You know, Louise is a grown man, so I don't see why a child's worried about an adult doing chores. I never asked my mom why dad wasn't washing the dishes. But, you know, I couldn't ask that. But that was my dad. My dad got up and went to work every day. I don't know if Louise works. Louise is like a house husband. So, you know, Olivia's acting out. She didn't run away from home, child. She's staying at her boyfriend's house. And Molly and her friend ride out to go pick her up. They have this conversation at the door, which I did not understand. I would have been like, get your behind in this car. We're about to go home. Second thing is, where were the boyfriend's parents? Like, what parents are these who let a girl run away from home and come stay with them and don't even call their mom? She had to call Olivia to track her down. If that was my boyfriend's child and she popped up at my house talking about, I'm tired of living at home, me and my mom are fighting, I would say, okay, baby, go on in there, sit down. Then I would have called her mom and been like, hey, your daughter's here. Do you want to come get her? I wouldn't have had my child. I would have got caught up in the middle of that. At the end of the day, it is a messed up situation. Louise needs to go, but Olivia is still her mother's child. She still needs to respect her mom. Even though her mom is making bad decisions, she still has to respect her mother. And running away like that and then like cracking the door open and having a conversation on the porch to be like, please just leave. Girl, you asking for a backhand. Molly is real weak and passive. She tried to say at the end that her kids are going to come first and Louise has to go. And I think she is slowly starting to realize that this relationship with Louise is just not going to work. It's just not a good look for her kids. And that's something she should have realized when she was in the Dominican Republic. But you think you about to bring this bartender home from a resort you went to on vacation and he's going to be a father to your kids and he's like 27? This was a bad idea from jump, and I'm so happy that Molly is finally coming to her senses and starting to wake up and see that Louise is not right for her life or her kids and he needs to go. Uncle Jesse made an appearance in this particular episode, Molly's brother, and he came and talked to Louise and just told him how he was disappointed and how he left and it was mad, and he was mad about it, and he didn't like how he abandoned his sister and her kids, and that he needs to basically step up. And Louise, you know, was responsive somewhat. He said basically, I'm gonna keep trying as long as I can, but if it doesn't keep working, he basically said he wasn't gonna try. Louise is not gonna try. He's just saying what he needs to say in the moment. He says all the right things, you know. He said that Molly needs to repair her relationship with Olivia because family comes first. He said that he's gonna try really hard and promised Uncle Jesse that he would try to do better. I don't think he's gonna try to do anything. I think Louise says what he feels is the right thing to say in the moment because it sounds good, and then he just goes and does what he wants to do. I feel like this relationship is slowly gonna start unraveling, and for good. Good riddance. Bye. Like I said, throw it away. Throw the whole relationship in the garbage and start over, Molly. This just is not gonna work. Pretty much it for Molly and Louise. I'm ready for this storyline to get moving because the whole my kids don't like my mama's man is really getting old for me. I mean, I'm tired of seeing it every week. But you know, we'll see how it plays out in the future. Let's move on to the next couple. Third is Russ and Paulo. Okay, so Russ and Paulo finally make it to Colombia. First thing they do is they see her family. Paula's talking to her sister. Her sister's basically saying that you abandoned us, you left us, child, we high and dry out here, and you know, you haven't been here in 4 years. And Paula feels bad and blah. Y'all, I can't even do it. I don't care. Like, I really don't care about the storyline. Paula hasn't seen her family in 4 years. Okay, sad. All right, so then they go to the hospital and they go and see Abuelita, and I thought it was really I was really surprised that they actually took the cameras into the hospital room. I was surprised by that because I felt like they should have just filmed them going in and then filmed them coming out and like talk to them in the confessional and stuff. But they actually went into Grandma's room. I was like, okay, so we just gonna film Grandma on her deathbed. All right. Family didn't care the cameras were there. Hell, Abuelita was barely noticed that Paula came in. I guess she didn't notice when the camera crew came in, but I mean, she's about 107, so she's on her deathbed and they're in there talking to her, and Russ and Pal had this really emotional moment in their confessionals and they were crying, and I mean, it's all very sad, and I'm not trying to take away from this emotional moment, but I just don't care to watch it. It's not something that I'm connected to. It's not something that I care about. I just don't. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not tender-hearted like some of y'all, and I just really could care less about this whole part of their story. Then they go on to like see the city. Paula's taking Russ around, and she's taking her outside the church that her grandma used to walk her to when they were kids, and it's all very cute. And then these bikers start going by, and Russ gets scared. He's like, is this a gang? What in the world's going on? It's like, no, white man from Oklahoma. Every time you hear motorcycles, I mean, it's a gang. Russ is all nervous, and Paula's all excited, honey. She's in her element. She is popping. She is hot. She is loving it. She is in Colombia. She sees a guy she recognizes, and they stop and talk to him, and then they ask him, do they want to go for a ride? So she hops on the back of his bike, and Russ hops on the back of some other strange dude. I don't know. That was really weird. Bike. And they ride around, and then afterward, they have a discussion, and, you know, she's talking to Russ, and Russ is like, oh, how did you know that guy? So when they met him, they were saying, oh, they grew up together. They've known each other since they were kids. They've known each other for like 20 years, blah, blah, blah. And so then finally Pal admits that, well, she did date him for a short amount of time. It didn't work, so they just decided to be friends. And so Russ gets all upset, honey, because he thinks that, you know, she lied to him. But, I mean, it doesn't mean that she lied. I mean, she told him the information that made sense to tell him in the moment. It wasn't her trying to be secretive. I think she just told him what was important. They probably did grow up together. I mean, the guy was talking like he knew Pal very well. And she said they didn't date very long. And I mean, hey, he's acting like she purposefully withheld information from him. I mean, she may have, but I don't think it was that big of a deal for him to be like, I don't think I can trust her now. Dude, chill out, lighten up a little bit. I think he's starting to feel a little threatened because Pal's feeling a little loose now that she's back at home and in her country and in her element. And, you know, Russ is very straight-laced Oklahoma white man. And so that's very, you know, against, you know, he doesn't want her to be like that. He wants to kind of rein her in. And I think then that on top of her meeting her ex and hopping on the back of a bike with him just had him shook. And I don't think he was ready for that. Now he's a little nervous that, you know, he might not be wild enough to keep Pal. That's really what it is. That's the root of it. He thinks he's not wild enough to keep her. And he is. I mean, he's very vanilla, mayonnaise, white bread. She's been with him this long. I mean, you know, he's her ticket to America, Miami to do the modeling. So, you know, fine, whatever. Y'all, whatever. These two, I just can't. I don't care about them or this, whatever. All right, let's move on to David and Annie. So David and Annie by far are my favorite couple this whole episode. They kept me entertained and they had me laughing the whole time. So this episode starts off with them, with Jacob moving in with David and Annie. Jacob is David's younger son. I think he's probably about 18 now. He's like 17 last season. So he might have just turned 18, probably just graduated from high school, or maybe graduated from high school. I don't know. But he needs somewhere to stay. And so David has agreed to let him move in because, of course, they're strapped for cash. And he's thinking, if I let somebody come stay with us and I charge him $200 a month rent, then he'll be able to help. The only problem is David didn't have the other 800. When they come in, Annie, of course, is pissed. She is 38 hot, honey. She is not here for it because David just kind of sprung that on her. He did not run it by her that he wanted to move Jacob in. He just woke up that day and was like, hey, Jacob's moved it in. I'm going to get him. And she was like, okay, you just going to spring this on me without talking to me about it. And we didn't come to a decision. You just making decisions for me. And we broke. And America's not what I thought it was going to be. Annie is just distraught right now, honey. She is having a rough time in America. And she told David that this is not a good start for their marriage. Having a discussion about how many days a week Jacob is going to stay in the house. And David's like, well, he'll probably be here 4 days. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, he'll go stay with friends. So Annie's like, okay, cool. Well, we're not going to have sex unless Jacob's not here because it's going to be weird for, you know, my stepson to be next to us having sex in the bed. And I'm like, yeah, I'm with that. David's like, well, we can be quiet, and Annie just goes off. Annie's like, who gonna be quiet? Not me. I don't like to be quiet, honey. So who gonna be quiet? David was like, we can keep it down. She was like, nope, because your booty be clapping. Your booty be clapping every time, and he gonna hear that through the walls because we right next door. And I was distraught, disheveled. I could not believe that she actually said that David booty claps. She said it. She said boom, boom. She said, boom, boom. Y'all hear me? That was just the mental image that I did not need this week. David does have hips. You know, he got some birthing hips now, and he got something back there, but I didn't need to know that it did all that. I didn't need to know that it clapped. I really didn't. Dear God. So I kind of looked at it as a revenge thing. I think Annie was sort of getting back at David for not running it by her that Jake was going to live in there. So she's going to be living there. So she's like, oh, okay. Well, since you didn't want to remind me, we're not going to have sex while he's here. I felt like it was kind of a jab to get back at him. And it also makes sense. I mean, who wants to hear their stepdad and their dad and their stepmom having sex? Like, no. So I agree with her. It's weird. It's also weird that David's booty claps, but let's move on from that. Annie FaceTimes her mom, and she's talking about her life in America and how, you know, tough it is and how much harder than it is that she thought it was going to be because they have so many money troubles. They still don't have a job, honey. They're struggling. They don't know if they're going to be able to pay this rent. Now his son had moved in. She's just crying and wiping tears away to her mama. And it was a sad moment. Now that really like made my heart go out to Annie. And I think Annie might be my new favorite person on the show right now because I just felt so bad for her. I mean, she just worked in a dick-sucking bar trying to make a better life for her and her family to come to America to marry somebody with some money and live a better life so she can send a little coin home. And she didn't got wrapped up with this fool. And she didn't ask for that. And, you know, I just hate it for her. You know, it really made me sad. She started going in on Ashley. She said that she's a couple biscuits short of a dozen. Honey, she said that she's ugly and she's breathes like a rabbit. I mean, Annie went in. I was like, oh, girl. Like spilling all the tea to her mama, just going in on Ashley, just saying how she doesn't like her and how she went through 3 husbands. Child, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know all this about Ashley. Annie was spilling the tea for Ashley. I didn't even know. She's just going on and on to her mom, and then her mom's like, well, what about this dowry? And I was like, uh-oh. She was like, well, David still don't have no money. I was like, girl, go ahead and tell your mama she not getting that dowry, okay? She agreed to that upfront payment and paid the other $15,000 in installments, and we had made installment number 1. You not gonna get it, ma'am. It's gone. Okay, you done let this man marry your daughter. You should have got all your money up front before you agreed to let him marry this fool. This man is broke. You're not gonna get that dowry. It's gone. Okay, the water buffalo, they not coming. All right, we need to go to Plan B. Plan B, because dowry is gone, okay? Annie's already taken across the world. You're not about to get the rest of that money because David don't even have a job. He's sitting here clipping coupons when he need to be looking up jobs. He's sitting here trying to save money and ain't even made no money. How you gonna clip coupons to save money, but you ain't going to work to make no money? This man, he's lazy. He doesn't want to work. You're not about to get that dowry, mama. Mama Annie, the dowry's gone, okay? We can let that go. That's it for those two. Let's move on to the next couple. Next is Jorge and Anfisa. So George is all lonely, and Lord, he's singing his sad song, eating his lonely man dinners in this episode, and he just gets the idea that he wants to start over with Anfisa. He knows that she was mean to him and that she was crazy and all this stuff, but he just wants to start over fresh. He wants to come back home. And so he calls her and asks her, does she want to go to dinner? She kind of hems and haws and says no at first, but then she agrees. And so they go to dinner. So George is sitting there waiting on her. And then all of a sudden, y'all, Anfisa rolls up in a new car. She hops out, tosses the keys to the valet. She got her jacket hanging over her shoulders like Kim Kardashian. She walks in with her heels on. She sits down. She proceeds to tell George that she got a new apartment, honey, a new car, honey, and she think about going to school. What? So I was just like, whoa, 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 wait a minute here. I know you got your green card, but how you got credit? Maybe y'all can explain this to me. How is Anfisa gonna get a car and an apartment when she only got a green card like 3 months ago? How is that possible? She got a line of credit? She had to have somebody co-sign for her. So here's my theory. I think she got a sugar daddy somewhere. I know she's getting webcam money, but I think she gotta have somebody to sign for her for these cars in this apartment. Does she not? I don't see how she can get them. Unless she went to the buy here, pay here, you know, we turn nobody away car lot and got a car, which I seriously doubt. And unless she went to a crappy apartment that really doesn't care and just charges you, you know, whatever amount, which I seriously doubt. I'm sure she's staying somewhere real swanky, real fancy, and real nice because Anfisa likes the finer things in life. I don't see her doing something like that. So I'm just confused as to how this is happening. So I think she might have a sugar daddy waiting in the wings that might, you know, she might do whatever for, you know, apartment money or co-sign for this car. And whatever that is none of my business. We're just telling her, you know, how much he misses her, and he's sorry for what he said at the tell-all, the lies that he told about her being a webcam worker. And, you know, he apologizes and says that he misses her and he wants to start over fresh. And so Anfisa agrees. So they have, you know, I guess they're about to begin the process of kind of getting back together. You know, their episode this week didn't really have a lot. That was pretty much it. But I'm still curious to see how Anfisa is paying for all this stuff. I really think she has a sugar daddy. I think she might be on sugarbabies.com for real. And of course she's doing the webcam. I firmly believe that she does it, which is fine. Girl, make your money. But you know, don't deny it. If you're going to do it, don't do it, you know, try, you know, whatever. But of course, I don't necessarily have hardcore evidential proof because she hasn't admitted to it. So, but I think she does it. But so she's apparently getting money from her webcams and her sugar daddy, and she don't need George. She's a strong, independent woman that don't need no man. She don't need no George either. They're about to start, you know, getting back together, and good for them. Whatever, I don't care. I mean, Anfisa gonna be slapping him upside his head in a minute anyway, so whatever, George. This is what you wanted, so this is what you about to get. Let's move on to the last couple. Last but not least, Lord help us get through this. It's Pedro and Chantal. So Pedro and Chantal are still arguing about her family not liking him, his family not liking her. And my heart kind of goes out to them because it is hard in a relationship when your families don't get along, or your family. It's tough. I do get that. But both of their families are terrible. Like, they were spawned from awful human beings, it seems like. His family only worried about him sending money and TVs. Her family doesn't want to have anything to do with his family. I mean, the trip to the Dominican they were 50-50 equally at fault for the trip being horrible. Her family was disrespectful, his family was disrespectful, and they both just need to kind of sit down and squash it all out and just say, okay, we both apologize, we're going to move past it. But of course they're not going to do that because they're all horrible human beings. It starts off with Chantal and River going out to eat, and River, oh my god, River thinks that Pedro is holding Chantal hostage and keeping her from her family. Dude, no. Chantal probably doesn't like to hang with y'all because she know y'all don't like her man. Like, who really wants to go hang out with some people who don't like her man and gonna be sitting there bashing your man the whole time you there? You're not gonna want to hang out with these people. River, she know you don't like him. All you're gonna do is dog him out and talk about him. So why would she want to come hang with you if all you're gonna do is dog her husband? She's not going to want to. So that's why she hasn't been hanging with her family as much. Pedro is not making her do anything. So that's what he thinks, and he says blah blah blah, and Chantal's like, well, do you respect him? And he's like, oh, I respect him, let you respect me. Whatever. River needs his behind whooped. Clearly his daddy never gave him whooping in his life, and he needs one. So I'm ready for this beat down. Chantal's family is going on this trip to the cabins up in North Georgia, and of course Chantal wants Pedro to come with them because it's a family vacation. Pedro wants to have none of it. He's like, I can't even stand 10 minutes with your family. I can't do 4 days. Like, no, this is not gonna happen. Chantal twists his arm, and so Pedro finally does just decide to go at the last minute. bad idea on Pedro's part. Pedro should not have gone. He should have put his foot down. But I know that, you know, he probably had a little pressure from the TV cameras because, of course, we need this for the reality show. If it were real life, I don't think, or if they weren't on the TV show, I don't think Pedro would have gone. I think Pedro would have stayed at home. But because of the TV cameras and the show and all that stuff, I think he just went. So they're riding in the car, and Pedro's in the very back. And then I'm just convinced that all of Chantal's family, they're a little slow. Like, they're not too bright. You know, I just don't. Ever since they tried to shift that TV, all of them are slow to me. So everything they do just kind of stands out. So they're in the car and they're trying to think of fun things to do. I don't know why. It's not like there's any kids in the car. It's a car full of adults. Everybody get your phones out and watch videos and be quiet. We don't have to play games in the car to entertain each other. Nobody does that. They don't even do that with kids. They give them a tablet and tell them watch movies or YouTube videos or something. So for some reason, they want to play games to try to engage and interact because it's a family vacation. They're being weird, they're being awkward, and they're forcing it. So Chantal's like, oh, we can play charades. I don't think she knows what charades is because you can't play charades in a car. I think she meant I Spy, but she said charades, and I was real confused for about 10 minutes. I was like, how are we going to play charades in the car? How are you going to be able to see what I'm acting? How are people behind me going to see? So they try to get Pedro involved, and Pedro's got his earbuds in, honey. He is checked out. He's like, I'm just here, but I'm not here. Don't say nothing to me, and I won't say nothing to you. And then Chantal's mom is trying to buck up and be like, I'm going to make him come sit in the front. Like, girl, this is not kindergarten. You're not going to put him at the front of the classroom, put him in the corner because he doesn't want to interact with your stupid game of car charades. Stop. Finally get to the cabin, and they're kind of getting stuff out of the car, and Pedro's being real short with them. He's just like, let me get my bags. Let me go into my room. I'm going to stay at y'all way. Chantal's father, who to me acts like a Stepford husband, I think he's a robot. He's very strange. He has like this weird creepy guy smile on his face while he's talking to Pedro about the trip to the Dominican and how horrible it went. And Pedro's just being straight up with him like, look, I know y'all don't like me, I don't like you, so just give me my space, I'll give you yours. Chantal, I came for Chantal. That's basically the only reason I came. It's not for y'all. I know we don't like each other. Let's just not fake it like we do. So his dad's like, well, I just want to talk about it, and I think the trip went well. He's really strange. And I'm like, why are you smiling at this dude? This dude is like telling you he don't like you, and you know the trip went terrible. River's trying to act like everything's cool. You know you don't like Pedro, and all you do is talk slick to him. So I don't know why they're trying to fake it like everything's all good, and it's not all good. So it kind of leaves it there at the end of this episode with Pedro outside talking to Chantal's dad and River. And this trip is going to be a disaster. Pedro is thinking about going home already. They just landed at the cabin, and Pedro already trying to hop a bus back to Atlanta. And I don't blame him. I think he should go. And he probably will after he put them paws on River. So let's get to that. Like, oh, hopefully next week they will show the hands being laid on, because I'm ready for it, because River is annoying. But yeah, that's it. So that was this episode. Oh my gosh, so much happened, but so much didn't happen. And so I'm just really looking forward to the rest of the episodes in this season. So thank you guys so much for watching this recap again. We made it through, and I'm so glad that you guys are here to watch it with me. Follow me on Twitter for my live tweets while we watch the show on Sunday nights at Nikki P Tweets. That's NICHI_P_tweets for all the crazy stuff that I have to say in real time, my first reactions to the show. Oh my gosh, the Twitterverse, hashtag 90 Day Fiance, hashtag 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. That's my favorite thing to do while I'm watching the show, because the Twitter family for 90 Day Fiance just makes watching the show 1,000 times better. If you're not part of that community, please jump in it. Please jump in that hashtag. And even if you don't ever tweet, just scroll through it while you're watching. Scroll through it during the commercial breaks. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.